Lost heritage. The Sikh legacy in Pakistan. I see our generation as the last link between the ones directly impacted by the partition of India in 1947 and the present who have little emotional attachment to that cataclysm. We have grown up hearing first hand accounts from those who were affected and uprooted, struggling thereafter as refugees in their endeavor to restart their lives. Lost Heritage, The Sikh Legacy in Pakistan is a book that is aimed at evoking a stimulus for those in search of this bygone era. This presentation shares the making of the book, its motivation, and the journey. A question I get asked is, what was the need to risk undertaking a journey across Pakistan in a hope to surface the footprints which after 7 decades of partition may or may not exist? Well, the answer lies in a quote from Gurbani by Guru Amar Das, the third Sikh Guru, from page 951 of Guru Granth Sahib. It says, Babaniya kahaniyan poot sapoot karen. Translated in English, it means, worthy get inspiration from the stories of their forefathers. This being a past of our ancestors, it was worthy to investigate. Lost Heritage, The Sikh Legacy in Pakistan, the book releases in December 2015. It is a hardcover book printed in matte art paper in a 12.25 inch by 9.25 inch size, containing 504 pages, 15 maps, 507 photos, in over 50,000 words of text spread over 60 chapters. It's quite a voluminous work, but it's a very visual intensive work. Details of the book can be seen at the web address given at the bottom of each slide, which is www.lostheritagebook.com. As people today tend to shy from spending much time in reading, hence this book leverages photos clicked by the author as a form of storytelling, providing just enough context in words, leaving the option with the reader to delve deeper as per his or her interest. Urvashi Butalia, the author of The Other Side of Silence, says this is a stunning pictorial journey that is both tragic and deeply evocative. Ishtiaq Ahmed, the author of The Punjab, Bloodied, Partition and Cleansed, says that it resuscitates in a prose that speaks directly to the heart. In a single frame, the front cover picture of the book conveys both the lost spiritual and the temporal aspects of the Sikh community. This photograph was clicked in Pakistan's lower hills of the Salt Range. The hills of Tilla Jogiyan that are not seen in this picture lie in close proximity. Guru Nanak, who is fondly known as Baba Nanak in Pakistan, travelled to Tilla Jogiyan to meet the Jogis, the ascetics, the followers of Baba Gorakhnath, who practiced a life of renunciation. The dialogue that Guru Nanak had with the Jogis at the Tilla is recorded under the title of Siddh Gosht in the Guru Granth Sahib. In it, Guru Nanak advises the Jogis to imbibe spiritual pursuits while being engaged in the worldly life, like a lotus that blooms in a dirty pond. On return from Tilla Jogiyan, Baba Nanak stopped at the fields below the Rohtas fort, where existed a water spring. The Sikhs later made a majestic Gurdwara at this place, naming it Choa Guru Nanak Gurdwara. Choa means a spring. The foreground in this picture are the dilapidated gates of Choa Baba Guru Nanak Gurdwara, representing the lost spiritual aspects of the community. In the background of this picture is the Rohtas fort, representing the lost temporal aspects of the community. In early 1800s, when Maharaja Ranjit Singh started consolidating the Punjab, establishing a secular rule which for the first time in over 1,000 years was to become a formidable defense against the invasions from Central Asia, Afghanistan and Persia. It was his effort in ousting the Afghans from the Rohtas fort that enabled him to make further advances into the north and the west of the Punjab. The historical texts of the early 19th century tell us that during a bright day, from the top walls of the Rohtas fort, one could easily see the Pir Panjal mountain range of Kashmir, which is not the case today, primarily because the skyline is heavily polluted. This single photo on the book's cover conveys the lost heritage as an essence of this book. With this background, let us delve into the three questions this presentation aims to answer. Why this book? What does it cover? Where from here? So let us first address why this book. The single event of 1947 resulted in total abandonment of the assets that the Sikh community had built in these lands for over centuries. To understand, let us go back in time into the areas that once constituted the northwest of the Indian subcontinent. It is in these lands in 1469 that Guru Nanak was born, and it was the cradle of Sikhism. Between 15th and 18th centuries, the Sikh community created a sound foundation resulting in the formation of the Sikh kingdom, which offered a secular rule. At the same time, from early 1700s, the British had arrived in India through the sea route, slowly expanding from the east, finding it hard to move any further west of the banks of river Sutlej, where started the Sikh kingdom. At that time, Punjab was a separate country under the rule of Maharaja Ranjit Singh. At Sutlej, the Treaty of Amritsar restricted the British from moving any further west and the Sikhs from moving any further east. The British, due to the advent of great game, a tussle in Europe, were threatened of their existence in India because the Russians or the French could enter India through the land route. Hence, the British started exploring the annexation of Punjab. In 1839, Ranjit Singh dies, and in the next 10 years, the Dogra ministers, Gulab Singh and Dhyan Singh, partner with the British to annex the Punjab, which happens after two bloody Anglo-Sikh wars. British finally annexed the Punjab in 1849. Thereafter, from 1918 to 1945, Sikhs contribute significantly in the two world wars as members of the Allied forces. Then comes the year 1947, when, ignoring the existence of the Sikh Empire prior to the British conquest and the contribution of the Sikhs in the two world wars, the Sikh interests are overlooked in the Indian subcontinent, and it is divided into Pakistan and India. In the riots that are triggered across communities, millions lose their life and assets, getting uprooted on either sides of the border. The Punjabi Sikhs do not survive in West Punjab, that now becomes Pakistan. They are either converted, killed, or choose to migrate to India. In fact, the only Sikhs who survived in Pakistan were the ones who moved deep into the northwestern frontier areas of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. The partition of 1947 results in 80% of the erstwhile Sikh Empire falling in Pakistan. In the map shown in the left of this slide, the yellow section shows the Sikh Empire as it existed before the British annexation. On it are overlaid red dots showing the cities that are now in Pakistan, and the black dots are the places that are now in India. In essence, with the creation of Pakistan, 80% of the Sikh Empire fell in Pakistan. And Sikhs having moved out between August to December 1947, the impact was that for centuries worth of culture and heritage was left abandoned on one fine day. I was born in 1966 in eastern Uttar Pradesh of India. My father hailed from Muzaffarabad, an area that now falls under the Pakistan-administered Kashmir. My mother was from Abbottabad, the Hazara region of Pakistan, which is in south of Pakistan-administered Kashmir and north of Rawalpindi in the West Punjab. My father had moved to Gorakhpur in 1945 in pursuit of business opportunities. He was in Gorakhpur when partition happened in August 1947. The area of Kashmir was not awarded to either India or Pakistan, as the decision to join either or remain independent was left with Maharaja Hari Singh as the British left India. On October 21st, the tribals from Waziristan attacked Muzaffarabad, creating havoc, looting, raping and killing. The underlying objective was to make Kashmir a part of Pakistan. On 21st and 22nd October, they lined up over 300 Sikhs on the ill-fated Dumail Bridge and shot them at point-blank range. This is the picture of the ill-fated Dumail Bridge that I clicked while in Muzaffarabad. It is called Dumail because it is here that the two rivers, Jhelum and Neelam, join. In the green patch that you see across the bridge, there used to be a Chhati Patshahi Gurdwara, which today functions as a police station. It was a historical Gurdwara built in the memory of Guru Har Gobind, the sixth Sikh Guru. It is from this bridge that my Bhua, my father's sister, had to throw her infant girl in the river as her wailing was creating risk for others in the hiding. In the shooting done by the tribals on this bridge, my mother-in-law lost her parents. It is under this bridge that Jaswanti, our distant Bhua, who now resides in Rawalpindi as a Muslim by the name of Noori, she as a 5-year-old girl found the dead bodies of her parents. She was later adopted by a Muslim family who grew up in Pakistan. Destiny got her to meet her brother from Delhi in late 1990s. I met Noori during my visit to Rawalpindi and had breakfast with her. Growing up with such stories, my being from very early years had gravitated towards delving into the Sikh history. In spite of such tragic events, my father always remembered Muzaffarabad as the Shangri-La, a heavenly place close to perfection. I grew up hearing him talk positively about the society that coexisted in these lands. The coexistence could be seen from the fact that my father was equally well versed in Urdu and Gurmukhi, reading daily newspapers of both languages. Such stories were demanding a closure. A visit to Muzaffarabad was a must in my life, from where I desired to bring back the soil from under the Dumail Bridge to pass to our children, to serve as a memory that our ancestors had come from these lands. For years, I pursued my corporate career. There seemed to be an invisible hand preparing me for one day to undertake the research across Pakistan. History, visual arts, literary, and exploration were the skills I was subtly acquiring. In 2014, when I left the 20-plus years of service in the corporate world, life offered a window to visit Muzaffarabad. As I prepared to visit Pakistan, the years of delving in the history had raised a question in my mind that other than my pursuit for Muzaffarabad, should I not use this opportunity to also delve into the vestiges of the Sikh community as it stands 7 decades after partition? So, the question is, why did I call this book The Lost Heritage? Why the word lost? Well, the remains of the glorious heritage can be divided into 2 parts. Lost due to lack of free and easy access are the few functional gurdwaras that the Pakistan government has made an effort to restore since the mid-1990s. These are spread across Lahore, Nankana Sahib, Hasan Abdal, Kartarpur Sahib, Aminabad and Peshawar. These today are the only aspects of the Sikh heritage that are visited by the Sikhs from around the world, fulfilling their spiritual needs. Sikhs come in religious groups, the Jathas, remaining limited to these few gurdwaras, and return being satisfied for having made a holy visit. But the question that comes up is that if centuries worth of culture and heritage was abandoned in the single event of 1947, then there should still be remains of numerous non-functional village gurdwaras, forts, battlegrounds, education institutions, art, architecture, not just in Punjab, but across the northwest frontier, Pakistan-administered Kashmir, Sindh and Balochistan. The Lost Heritage book covers both the functional and the non-functional aspects of the Sikh legacy. Of the 504 pages, only 20% covers the functional gurdwaras. 80% of the book explores the remnants of the legacy. 7 decades after partition, most of these remains are lost forever. Barely 10% of this segment remains, and we can at best try to join the dots to be able to understand the community's past. In October 2014, when I finally traveled to Pakistan, I was only armed with passion, without a concrete plan on how I would go about exploring the vestiges of the community. The only destination I knew that I had to definitely touch was Muzaffarabad, and the rest was just an open plate. There was an invisible hand guiding me during this trip. From nowhere, people started connecting and offering their full support in my pursuit. The love and affection of the Pakistanis is something that I've carried back in my heart and will cherish throughout my life. In the 30 days, I was able to explore the vestiges of the Sikh community in 36 cities, spread across West Punjab, northwest frontier, and the Pakistan administered Kashmir. Muzaffarabad became just a means to an end. I returned to Singapore in November 2014 with over 1,500 pictures of the research remnants. Satisfied of having fulfilled the quest, as I returned to my daily chores, in mid-December, standing in front of my library, my eyes fell on the 2 European travelogues that I had read many years back, and these became a catalyst for me to embark on the writing of the book, Lost Heritage, the Sikh Legacy in Pakistan. Let me take you back in time to appreciate the importance of these travelogues by William Moorcroft, who travelled to the Sikh kingdom in 1819, and that of Alexander Burns, who travelled in the year 1931. During the time of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, while British had conquered the entire Indian subcontinent, the expansions came to a halt at the river Satluj, which was where the Sikh kingdom began. However, for the British, the Punjab was strategically important due to the developments that were happening in Europe. The Napoleonic Wars between the French and the British in the periods 1789 to 1815 and the increasing Russian influence in the Afghanistan from 1813 onwards resulted in a period that is historically known as the Great Game. The British were the masters of the sea, having come to India via the sea. However, the political environment in Europe was posing a great threat that the French could arrive in India with a marching army through the land route via Central Asia, Afghanistan, and the Punjab. Similarly, the Russians could bring in the army through Tibet, Kashmir, and Punjab, or they could come through Central Asia, Afghanistan, and the Punjab. Clearly, the Punjab became the strategic territory in the eyes of the British that had to be annexed soon. So the British started sending spies in disguise into the Sikh kingdom. William Moorcroft reached Lahore from British India in 1819, and throughout his journey he maintained a diary. Alexander Burns, on the other hand, was tasked with the responsibility to gauge if the British could reach the Punjab on a ship. Burns carried a few European horses to gift to Maharaja Ranjit Singh in Lahore, and he set sail from Britain. Leaving the Arabian Sea, he turned the ship into the mighty river Indus at Sindh. Those days, Indus was a voluminous river. He was successful in bringing his ship into Punjab and docked it on the banks of the Indus at Attock, which is close to Rawalpindi. From here, he took the horses on land to reach Lahore and he gifted them to Ranjit Singh. Alexander Burns also maintained a diary. Both William Moorcroft and Alexander Burns were basically cartographers, mapping the territories of the Punjab as they travelled within it. After the 1849 conquest of the Punjab by the British, the diaries of both these adventurers were published in London. Many years back, having read both these travelogues, I had been able to form an impression of the Sikh kingdom as documented by these European travellers. In December 2014, having returned to Singapore after my visit to Pakistan, as my eyes once again fell on these books, it then struck me. If these 200-year-old travelogues without any photographs could help Amardeep appreciate the Sikh empire, then could a documentation of my travels with the photos, can it become a source of reference and inspiration for the future generations? This became the catalyst for my foray into writing the book. In making of the book, while script and photos were under my control and posed the least challenge, it is the publishing that created the barriers. A voluminous illustrated work being a costly affair, I was being asked to reduce the number of pages to make it commercially viable. This I refused, as the last thing desired while sitting on a rocking chair in my old age is to repent that I compromised the work. Fortunately, the dots joined, and within a year, we have been able to complete the work. So with this background, now let us look at what does the book cover. The way this work is written and complemented with pictures is that as I travel across Pakistan, I share my experiences, observations, and pursuits in discovering the Sikh heritage. This keeps the reader engaged without making it very history heavy. Thereafter, when I discover a legacy footprint, I go back in time to the period this remnant belonged to, and having explained about it, I return back to the present day journey and move on to the next phase. The breadth of this work is large, covering many facets of the Sikh legacy across Pakistan. Looking at the places of worship, I have tried to cover them in 3 segments: places that are currently functional, abandoned, and those that are now occupied. For example, the left photograph is of the functional Aminabad Gurdwara, which was reopened in the late 1990s. I have named this chapter in the book as Gaudis of Punjab, because the work of the Sikh architects of this Gurdwara was in no way less than Gaudi, the architect of Spain, whose style converts the bricks into amorphous blocks taking shapes with ease. Notice how the rectangular bricks have been used to create Gurbani inscriptions. This is unique. The center photo is that of the Guruda Kotha Gurdwara at Wazirabad. This is a historic Gurdwara commemorating the visit of Guru Har Gobind VI Sikh Guru. It has unique bulbous architecture. Unfortunately, this is an example of the occupation by the migrants from India who are called as Muhajirs in Pakistan. After partition, the lower economic group Muslims who came into the Punjab could not claim any assets in compensation for what they had left in India, and many of these people occupied the Gurdwaras and heritage sites, which over time have become homes to their ever-expanding families. The right photo is of the Manshera Gurdwara, which now operates as the Manshera Municipal Library. I have covered many forts of the Sikh era that have remained silent spectators of the changed times. Their architects, the Sikhs, have left these forts and have moved all over the world into the distant lands. This photo is the remains of the Harkishan Garh Fort at Haripur that was built by Hari Singh Nalwa. Exploration of the remnants of the Anglo-Sikh wars that lie scattered across Pakistan. This is the picture of Chilianwala, where Lord Gow of the British forces met the Sikh army under the leadership of Sher Singh. This battle is documented in the British records as the toughest that the British forces have ever fought. Neither side won or lost, but both sides thought they lost the war. After annexation of the Punjab, the British made an obelisk here on which are still found the inscriptions in Gurmukhi, Urdu and English. The British have honoured the soldiers from both the sides who died fighting here. Exploration of Havelis, the homes of nobles, to understand the lifestyle of the society. This is the Haveli inside the Sheikhupura fort. It is here that Maharani Jindan, wife of Ranjit Singh and mother of Dalip Singh, was kept in captivity by the British. Later shifted from here to the Chunar fort in UP, India, and from there she eventually escaped to Nepal, where she stayed in Kathmandu for many years prior to getting united with Dalip Singh again. Exploration of arts through the few remaining frescoes from the pre-partition period. This is another aspect of this work, to understand the culture of our ancestors. This picture is of Baba Nanak with Shri Chand and Bhai Mardana at the Baba Khem Singh Bedi's Haveli in Kalar Saidan. Across Pakistan, look closely and you are assured to find the spiritual remnants from the Sikh era in walls, in homes, and across the places. Gurbani quotes like Khanda, Ikonkar, etc., these lie scattered in nooks and corners. This photo is of Gurbani inscription of Nanak Tibba village near Pakpatan. Sikhs had established a very good education brand under the name of Khalsa schools and Khalsa colleges, where people from across all faiths aspired to study. General Ayub Khan, the Commander-in-Chief of Pakistan Army and the President of Pakistan from 1958 to 69, was a product of Khalsa school at Haripur. Unfortunately, after partition, the Sikh community, having got scattered, has not been able to recreate the valuable Khalsa institution brand in India. In this picture is a photo of the Khalsa school at village Sagari. Interestingly, the architecture of the Khalsa institutions across Pakistan remain the same, only increasing or decreasing in size depending on its location in a village or in the city. Today, all the Khalsa institutions in Pakistan are converted into Islamia brand institutions. The distinct Sikh architecture can still be spotted in the dilapidated remains of the residential and commercial establishments across Pakistan. For instance, the palanquin-style windows of this residential building proclaims its erstwhile Sikh ownership. And on closer examination, the presence of Khanda insignia at the lower section confirms it. In the heart of Lahore's commercial centre, the Mall Road, it is common to still find largest commercial buildings made by the Sikhs. The picture is of Baba Dinga Singh building. A close examination of this entrance plaque still has the Ik Onkar written on it. This work would have been incomplete without having studied the interfaith aspects that have an anchor in the Sikh legacy. Therefore, I made special effort to visit Sai Mia Mir, Baba Farid, and Baba Bulle Shah's mausoleums. Sai Mia Mir laid the foundation stone of Golden Temple. Baba Farid, who resided in Pakpatan around 200 years prior to Baba Nanak, his sayings were transmitted orally until the Sikh Gurus documented them in the Guru Granth Sahib. Daily in the recitation of the Asa di War at the Sikh Gurdwaras, a couplet is sung, which goes, Har Jug Jug Pagat Upaya, Paj Rakda Aya Ram Raje, Har Nakash Dust Har Marya, Prahlad Taraya. Since Prahlad finds a mention in the daily hymn sung at the Gurdwaras, hence a visit to the remains of the dilapidated Prahladpuri temple at Multan was a must. The Hindu temple was made in memory of Prahlad, who resided in the city of Multan. Much of exploration of artifacts belonging to the Sikh era is also covered in this book. For example, in this picture you see the shawl of Rani Jindan lying in the private collection of Fakir Said Saifuddin at the Fakir Khana Museum in Lahore. Unfortunately, with the void that was created after partition, with no Sikhs left in Lahore, many boards at the historical monuments of Lahore, taking cue from the wrong interpretation of the history done by modern historians, proclaim that Sikhs destroyed these monuments and took away the valuables to Golden Temple. These are baseless projections, and a lot of effort has been made in this book to provide documented proof that invalidates such projections. For example, William Moorcroft's travelogue is often misquoted to project that Ranjit Singh converted the Badshahi mosque into a stable. Anyone well versed in English can see from the verbatim text that the horses were found caparisoned to receive the guest of honors standing at the entrance of fort and not inside the Badshahi mosque. That is what William Moorcroft writes, but the historians have interpreted it wrongly. A treasury scroll written in Persian and lying at the Fakir Khana Museum from the courts of Ranjit Singh, it lists the names of over 1,500 mosques, dargahs, mausoleums that were given grants by Ranjit Singh's government. Badshahi Mosque is a part of this list. It is worth pondering. If these grants were being given to Badshahi Mosque for its proper operation and functioning, then how could it be a stable? Pushing the limits of exploration by travelling into the frontier and Kashmir areas where also lie many footprints of the Sikh legacy. There are numerous heart-rending real stories presented in this work that should make people ponder never again to commit such madness as happened in the events of 1947. The next question is, where from here? To answer that question, let us first understand the objective of this work, which is, first, to document the legacy as a source of inspiration for future and present generations. This work is not for profit is the second objective. The vision of this work is to redeploy the recovered seed capital for a second print of the work, and secondly, to expand the research across Pakistan. There is much to achieve, and one needs like-minded people to come together to support. So how can you help? There are a few ways that you can support this initiative. First, help increase the awareness of the Lost Heritage book. Next, we need distribution partners across the world. Third, sponsorships. For instance, holding an event in Lahore to strike a dialogue with the communities about the past Sikh era, it requires books for distribution. In Pakistan, a book of this magnitude may not be bought easily by the population there. So we might have to actually cross-fund it and distribute it through sponsorships. At your libraries, make an effort to donate the books to the libraries. Approach your libraries and give the ISBN number and the book's website address so the libraries can place an order through it. Support the effort to conduct further research across Pakistan. If you are wanting to help, please contact the author at amardeepsinghrangar@yahoo.com.sg. The phone number is +65, that's the Singapore code, and the mobile is 9832-6508. How to order this book? Visit thelostheritagebook.com. If you have any queries for bulk orders or distributions, then contact the author at amardeepsinghrangar@yahoo.com.sg. Mobile 659832-6508. This brings us to an end of this presentation. Thank you very much